The morning sun spilled across Liberty Park, turning the lake into a sheet of gold. Joggers passed by, students crossed on e-scooters, and the distant hum of buses blended with the breeze. But amid all the life and noise, Ethan Miles felt completely alone. He watched his 7-year-old son, Liam, push a small toy boat across the grass near the water. The boy laughed softly, the sound thin, tired, almost forced. Ethan felt a stab of guilt. They had been moving from one cheap apartment to another since his wife passed away 2 years ago. He worked nights unloading cargo at a trucking yard in Norfolk, then cleaned offices until noon. Sleep was something he barely remembered. He pulled his faded jacket tighter. His whole life he had dreamed of becoming a naval aviator, just like his father. But dreams were expensive and single fatherhood came first. Still, today was special. The Navy was hosting a public air demonstration near the waterfront. Families gathered, kids pointing at helicopters passing overhead, the smell of food trucks drifting through the park. Liam had begged him for weeks to go, and Ethan saved every spare dollar to make it happen. "Daddy," Liam called, running up to him. "Look, they're coming." Ethan followed his son's gaze. A formation of helicopters approached, blades thumping like giant hearts. Crowds cheered as they passed low over the water. Liam squeezed his hand. "I wish Mommy could see this." Ethan's throat tightened. "She'd love it, buddy." They walked toward the viewing area, where decorated officers shook hands with the public. At the center stood Admiral Jackson Hale, a legendary former Navy SEAL whose medals looked heavy enough to pull him forward. He was tall, silver-haired, and carried himself with a confidence that made strangers straighten their posture. Near him were several younger officers, laughing as they interacted with kids. The atmosphere felt warm, almost healing. But when Ethan and Liam approached, a group of sailors noticed Ethan's torn jacket and work-stained jeans. One of them nudged another, whispering something. It wasn't cruel, more curious, like they were trying to place him. Ethan ignored it. He knelt beside Liam and pointed at a row of parked vehicles on display. Naval jeeps, motorcycles with the Navy insignia, even a small patrol boat on a trailer. Liam's eyes sparkled. "Daddy, can we see the motorcycle?" "Of course." But as Ethan rose, Admiral Hale turned toward them. His sharp eyes softened immediately at the sight of Liam's shy smile. "Well now," the Admiral said warmly. "This young man looks like he knows a thing or two about ships." Liam blushed and hid behind his father. Ethan chuckled. "He's a big fan of anything that moves." "Good taste," Hale said. Then he looked at Ethan, really looked at him. "You served." Ethan hesitated. His father had served. His brother had served. But he himself had never enlisted. Life had swept him in another direction before he even had the chance. Still, something inside him pushed back against the shame of his worn clothes and exhaustion. "No, sir," he answered quietly. "I just work everywhere." The Admiral smiled. "Every honest day's work is service, son." Some sailors nearby chuckled lightly, not unkindly, but as if expecting the Admiral to tease a little. Hale stepped closer, grinning. "Well," he said in a joking tone, "if I had to guess by that stance, I'd say you outrank all of us." He winked at the sailors. "Tell me, what's your rank, son?" The crowd laughed softly. Even Ethan smiled at the harmless joke. But Liam tugged his father's sleeve hard. "Daddy, show him." Ethan blinked. "Show him what?" Liam reached into the pocket of his little backpack and pulled out a small, laminated card, creased, worn, and smudged. He held it up proudly. Ethan swallowed. It was the Fleet Commander Pass from the local children's museum, Liam's favorite place. A volunteer there had given it to him last year when he helped another kid who was crying. They had jokingly declared him Fleet Commander of the Exploration Deck, and Liam treasured it like gold. "He's my fleet commander," Liam said proudly. "The boss of our whole fleet, our house fleet, me and Daddy." The crowd chuckled affectionately, but something in Admiral Hale shifted. His smile faded. His posture straightened. and he looked at Ethan as if seeing something no one else could. "What did you say?" Hale asked softly. Ethan blinked, confused. "My son plays captain a lot. It's just a game." But Hale wasn't listening. He crouched down to Liam's height, eyes glistening. "Young man," he whispered, voice trembling, "you have no idea how important that title really is." Liam tilted his head. "It is." Hale placed a hand over his heart. "It absolutely is." Then he stood slowly, so slowly that one of the sailors reached out instinctively. "Admiral, sir?" the sailor asked. Hale didn't answer. Instead, he looked at Ethan with a mixture of awe, sadness, and something like respect. And then, the Admiral's knees buckled. A gasp rippled through the crowd as he staggered backward. Sailors rushed to steady him. Ethan reached forward, alarmed. "Sir, are you okay?" Hale gripped Ethan's arm, breathing hard. I need to tell you something," he whispered. "Something you deserve to hear." Paramedics weren't needed, the Admiral insisted. He just sat on a bench overlooking the lake, catching his breath while the sailors formed a respectful distance. Ethan stood near him, unsure whether to apologize or leave. But Admiral Hale motioned him closer. "I'm sorry for the scare," Hale said. "You didn't do anything wrong. I just wasn't expecting that answer." Ethan frowned. "It was just a joke. A kid's museum thing." Hale shook his head. "You don't understand. My son, my only child, he used to call me Fleet Commander. Not because of rank, but because he said I commanded his world. His little fleet." Hale's voice wavered. "He died in an accident 18 years ago." Ethan's chest tightened. The Admiral looked out at the sparkling lake. "I buried myself in missions, in danger, in silence. I pushed away everyone who tried to help me. But hearing your boy say those words just now..." Hale pressed his palm to his eyes. "It was like hearing my son again." Ethan sat beside him. "Sir, I had no idea." "That's the thing about life," Hale whispered. "We never know who needs our kindness the most." They both watched as Liam climbed into the open jeep nearby, laughing with a young officer who showed him how the radio worked. The boy's joy filled the air like sunlight. Hale smiled faintly. "Your son worships you in ways you can't imagine." Ethan's voice cracked. "Some days I feel like I'm failing him." "You're not." Hale looked at him firmly. "You're doing the job of two parents on the salary of one. You bring him joy despite carrying the weight of grief. That makes you something far greater than any military rank." Ethan stared at the ground. "We're barely getting by. I'm doing my best. But it's not enough." Hale's eyes softened. "Do you want to give him more than survival?" "Of course." "Then let me help." Ethan stiffened. "I'm not asking for..." "I know you're not." Hale leaned back. "But hear me out." The Admiral motioned to one of his aides, who quickly brought a small folder. "I run a foundation for families of fallen service members," Hale said. "Over the years it expanded to support single parents, veterans, and workers struggling to rebuild their lives. You qualify for assistance." Ethan's eyes widened. "Me? Yes, and I want to give you stable housing for 2 years, full childcare support, and a training program that will get you into a career you actually want. Not just jobs that drain you." Hale smiled gently. "And I want to do it because your son reminded me that leadership isn't about medals. It's about love." Tears filled Ethan's eyes before he could stop them. He had spent years gripping life with white knuckles, never expecting a miracle, never even daring to hope for one. And now here it was, because his son had shown kindness in the most innocent way. "Sir," Ethan whispered, voice shaking, I don't know what to say." "Say yes," Hale replied softly. Ethan nodded, swallowing hard. "Yes." Just then, Liam ran back to them, cheeks flushed. "Daddy, they let me turn on the lights on the Jeep." "That's amazing, buddy," Ethan said, wiping his eyes quickly. Liam looked at the Admiral. Are you feeling better, sir? Hale laughed. Much better, thanks to you, Fleet Commander. The boy beamed. The Admiral knelt and placed something in Liam's hands. A small silver pin in the shape of an anchor with wings. This belonged to my son, Hale said quietly. I want you to have it. Not because of who I am, but because of who you are. Liam gazed at the pin with wide eyes, then hugged the Admiral tightly. Hale froze for a moment. Then his expression softened into something fragile and healing. He hugged the child back with trembling arms. The sailors nearby blinked rapidly, some wiping their eyes. A helicopter thumped overhead, scattering sunlight across the water. And in that moment Ethan realized something. Sometimes the smallest kindness can break open the deepest wounds and begin to heal them. The following weeks felt like stepping into a different world. Ethan and Liam moved into a modest but beautiful townhouse just outside Norfolk. Clean, safe, with a small backyard where Liam planted the sunflower seeds he'd been saving. Ethan enrolled in a naval support technician training program funded entirely by the Admiral's Foundation. For the first time in years, he wasn't working 3 jobs. He was sleeping, smiling, breathing. Liam thrived too. The Foundation arranged after-school activities, tutoring, and weekend trips to local museums. He carried the Admiral's silver pin everywhere, on his backpack, his jacket, even under his pillow. One Saturday morning, Ethan took Liam to the harbor front boardwalk. Boats bobbed gently along the piers, and gulls circled above food stands. A line of kids waited for a ride on the miniature tourist train that wove through the pier. Liam swung his legs happily as they rode. Daddy, are we still a fleet? Ethan nodded. Always. But now Admiral Hale is part of it too, right? Ethan smiled. Yes, he is. That afternoon, Admiral Hale invited them to a naval base event, this time as honored guests. Ethan wore clean jeans and a fitted shirt for the first time in years. Liam wore a navy blue jacket with a stitched patch reading, Fleet Commander. The Admiral greeted them at the entrance with a warm hug. I'm glad you came, he said. There's someone I want you to meet. He led them to a small hangar where a restored vintage helicopter sat proudly. Plaque beneath it read, dedicated to Chief Petty Officer Aaron Hale, a son, a dreamer, and the heart of my fleet. Ethan felt the Admiral's hand tighten slightly. Your son, Ethan whispered. Yes, Hale exhaled. I finally finished it. I never had the strength before. Liam touched the plaque gently. He must have been really brave. Hale nodded. He was. And so are you. Ethan placed a hand over his heart. Sir, thank you for letting us be here. You and your boy helped me finally do this, Hale said quietly. Grief locked me away for years. But that day in the park, it opened a door I thought was gone forever. Ethan swallowed hard. You changed our lives too. Hale smiled. That's what kindness does. It spreads. Later, as the sun sank into the horizon, painting the sky pink and gold, the Admiral walked them to the edge of the pier. The gentle rumble of a passing motorcycle echoed in the distance, blending with the soft voices of families enjoying the evening. Liam leaned against the railing. Admiral Hale? Yes, Commander? Can I tell you something? Of course. I think your son would be really proud of you. The Admiral inhaled sharply, blinking hard. He placed a hand on Liam's shoulder and whispered, I pray he is. They stood in silence, letting the moment settle around them like warm air. 3 months later, Ethan graduated from his program with honors. Hale attended the ceremony, clapping louder than anyone. When Ethan walked onto the stage, Hale whispered to the sailor beside him, See? Told you. Higher rank than all of us. The sailor grinned. Fleet Commander Miles. Ethan laughed when he heard it. Really laughed. A laugh that came from a heart finally healing. Life didn't become perfect, but it became possible. And sometimes that's enough. Because kindness doesn't need medals. It just needs courage. And love. And one small moment, like a child showing a simple card, that can change everything. Dear kind viewers, if this story touched your heart, made you think about kindness, or reminded you that even the smallest gesture can change a life, please take a moment to comment below. Your words truly inspire us. And if the message of this story warmed your spirit, please like this video, share it with your friends, and help spread these real-life moments of compassion. We also warmly invite you to subscribe to our channel Kindness Quest, where we bring you more inspiring stories every week. Stories that heal, uplift, and remind us all that kindness is still alive in this world. Thank you so much for being part of our journey.